Welcome back to Scouse Farm. Today I'm going to walk you up what's known as the Welsh Streets in Toxteth, and you can see there we've got some new builds in a new modern construction on what was an old terrace street. And the interesting thing about these is they have this like shared rear garden area. So every property, if you can see through the bars, you've got a walkway through the centre, and then everyone's got a little closed off area, but then there's a community area, so to speak, a little bit further behind with the grass, and that's where people or the kids play and things like that. And it's behind the gates, so nice and secure and a good place to be on the summer, or in the summer I should say. But these Welsh streets used to be quite dilapidated tenements, and I'll take you around to one of the streets now so you can see. Follow this dog, you can see what I'm talking about. But we've got a mixture in this street that I'm going to take you up, but some of them are just all converted old terraces. So this one, you've got new builds there, and you can see the modern design. And then further up the road, as we walk up, you'll get to see that the old terraces that were left to go into dilapidation have all been purchased by a company called, I think they're called Place First. And it's not social housing, this is like a mixture. So some of them in different streets have been taken on by a local housing association, so that's social housing, but most of them are private rented. And you'll see the difference now in this street compared to a recent video. If you cast your mind back to the video about derelict houses in Liverpool, even though they keep bleating on about housing shortages and all this sort of stuff, and have left literally an entire street to go into disrepair. But these are the same type of houses built in the same era, and just look at what can be done when one private company decides to take it on, reinvest into the area, bring the properties up to scratch, relay the road. As you can see, this is all decent. Unlike most of the roads in Liverpool, are just like they've been carpet bombed, and even the paving and the walkways have all been done and redone, I should say, by the private companies. But what you'll notice when I'm walking you up now is that we've got, for most of my viewers who are more interested in the flowers, they've planted areas in the middle, and these are looked after by a management company, but also most of the residents have took it upon themselves to plant up these little sort of private areas that have been placed between the bay windows of the properties. And you can see, once a little bit of flower power gets going, lots of other people start doing it as well. And you can see there all of the roofs have been replaced, so all relatively new now, should last many years. And these, it's a great little idea to like put some, it's just decking planking really across, and then make a little raised bed area in between the properties. And as long as you don't allow it to cause damp issues, so you've got to put like a membrane behind against the wall, or make sure that doesn't go all the way to the wall, then you should be fine. You won't get a damp issue, no penetrating damp. We've got some more here planted in the center. So isn't it a big difference between a derelict street and one that's just had an initial hit of funding, and then the residents who move in pay the rent and the service charge, because I imagine they pay a service charge for the shared areas. But this is a lovely street. I'm going to take you out now onto the top, and it's this is High Park Street you're about to come out onto the top of, and this is where the office is for this group of properties. Trying not to get through anyone's window, because obviously these are occupied houses now, but the ones I'm going to show you in a minute, they've not yet been occupied, so I can give you a closer look without risking getting anyone's face in the video. And as you can see there, just a nice little shared area out the back of the properties. and I'll show you a little bit closer, but these are the flats that have just recently been completed, and I want to pay attention to the solar panels there, because you'll notice that they're flush within the system of the tiles, the roof tiles, so they don't protrude, which means the pigeons don't roost above them, and then you don't get all the build up of grass and pigeon poop in the gutters, which will block the gutter and cause damp issues in the upper parts of the property, especially the bedrooms directly under the main roof. So that's a good idea, to put the solar panels flush with the roof tiles. Right, let's get round the front and show you the brand new ones. But these streets, if you look, I'm not going to walk you all the way around, so don't worry, it's not going to be an hour-long video. But all of these streets here, you can see where my finger's pointing now, these have all been done by this company. So what were previously quite poorly maintained properties have now been transformed, and these are all like late 1800s terraces, so that prevented them getting knocked down, which is always good to maintain the heritage. And if you spend the money to start with, they've already been on planet Earth since the 1800s, so they'll happily last another few hundred years easily if they're maintained. And going down Hyde Park Street, you can see now they've done it to the front ones as well. And there's the sign there, Place First. So this is one of the properties that's being used as a temporary office for people who want to inquire about how to rent these properties or whatever else it is they do with them. I'm not sure if some of them are shared ownership, but if you are in the area and you're interested in this development, I'll give you a little pause here so you can go on the website and check it out. Place First, there's the number and there's the details. So let's move down and show you these solar panels. There's one of the office people now. I won't get you on camera, don't worry, but I'm just showing a video for YouTube about the properties you're putting on the market. Are these private rented? Private landlord? Yeah, so can people apply to
Place First.
Yeah, so there you go. If you want to get into one of these newly built properties, which I'm pointing to now, go on that website and you'll see all the details of how to apply. And there's the mural on the side of the wall. As you know, previously the Welsh Streets were quite run down. They had a bad reputation in this area, and now that looks really good actually. One of the old windows blocked up at the top, probably the window tax from back in the day. So for those who are interested in a little bit of social history, you'll hear the term often when someone says, I'm not paying that, that's daylight robbery. Well, that term come from what was known as the window tax. I think it was, I'm not sure, someone else will be able to find the exact date, but I think William Pitt the Younger maybe, or William Pitt the Elder was the Prime Minister at the time from the Whigs, and they said that everyone needs to pay a tax on their property, and if you have a bigger property, by design you should have more windows, which means you've got more money or something. So people started blocking up the windows, because the tax was basically, if you have 5 windows, for example, you pay 5 lots of tax. If you have 10, you pay 10 lots. So people thought, well, I'm not paying such a high price, so I'm going to block up the windows. And it was literally termed daylight robbery, because if you had windows and daylight was in the house, you had to pay tax for it. And well, let's just say we haven't moved on very far from that, have we, considering the new government we've got now and the one previous to it. Almost as if they're identical. Whether you wear a red or a blue ribbon on your chest, they seem to have the same policies, all of which makes normal people poorer and rich people richer. So let's, before I go off on a tangent, let's get off that subject, stick to the properties. So these look really, really good, and these have recently been completed. Some of them are flats, and these ones now at the front here, these are standard houses. So I imagine you've got a different price obviously for the flats than these new houses. But if I take you through the window, no one lives there, so I'll try and show you through the window. The kitchens are at the front, so the living room lounge must be at the rear, so they're like back to front houses, so to speak. And nice little lawn area in the front. I wouldn't have put the lawn all the way to the property, like, but I'm sure they know what they're doing. And at the end we've got more of these new build flats, and you'll get to see it a bit better there, but you can now tell how the solar panels are literally flush with the roof tiles. They're inlaid, so the pigeon problem shouldn't happen on these. But there's one, in fact I'll tell you, I'm going to show you now. No one's looking through the window. There's an offending little creature there, and when they poop you can see all of the grass congregating in this corner of the gutter, and that causes a lot of damp issues. And that's why a lot of my jobs are on properties that have got serious damp and mold problems in the upper areas of the property, which is usually either a missing tile on the roof, a blocked gutter, or this like pigeons roosting on the solar panels. And this is where the project stops, because we're back to social housing now. So these are old massive Victorian properties. Some of them are still houses I think, but most have been split into flats, because as you can imagine that would be a very large house for one family in this day and age. And they stretch all the way down to the bottom of this road. And on the other side we have some more that have been converted, and they look to be the police first ones I think, because they've all got the same colour windows. Right, my shoulders are killing, and as Glenn from Bus Driver Walking said, I definitely need to get one of them gimbal things, because this is wrecking my shoulders holding a camera for so long. Right, thank you very much for watching. Please to give the video a thumbs up if you can, nice one mate, and subscribe to the channel if you're new in Scouse Farm. We'll see you again soon.